It's been about 2 months since I moved to Bloomington, and except for that one time catching MBNAS, I haven't gone out and railfanned yet. So, we're gonna change that with a specific target in mind. I'm after the last Roadrailers in operation, NS 255 and 256. The rumor mill has these trains being discontinued sometime in the next few weeks and replaced by a traditional snack train, so I want to catch at least one before they go the way of the dodo. I don't necessarily have a super solid plan, more or less just go sit trackside and see what happens. And if we happen to see anything on the UP on the way south, I'll stop and try and get it. We leave at the crack of dawn one Sunday morning and start south. 255 and 256 run on the Springfield-Hannibal District and Lafayette District. This is the former Wabash main line, with Decatur being a crew change point. While I could go to Decatur, there are very few people that intentionally do that, so I'm going to try the Springfield area instead. Unfortunately, there are currently very few good viewing areas in Springfield, so I instead go to Riverton. ATCS has been converted over to ITCM, unfortunately, so this is going to be almost a completely blind run. All I have is the radio and the intermediate signal just to the east. It's the signal approaching the western control point for Dawson siding, so that'll help a little bit. If the signal drops to stop, something is coming from the east. If it's anything higher than an approach, something is lined through that control point coming from the west. Even still, this'll be tough. Oh, and these are not approach lit signals, so the fact we can see an indication doesn't mean anything in itself. Not long after I arrive, that intermediate drops from an approach to a stop, meaning we've got a train coming from the east. And at 8:45, here comes NS 122, daily manifest from Cincinnati to Kansas City.
Southern milepost 407.2. No defects.
Once 122 clears, the wait begins. And continues. And continues. I give it until 11, and I haven't heard a peep on the radio. The intermediate signal hasn't wavered from approach, and I'm getting hungry. So I give up and head into Springfield. We're supposed to be getting one in Bloomington, but as of yet, we have to drive an hour to get Raising Cane's. I'll be honest, they're good, but they're not my favorite fast food chicken. After eating, I decide I'm tired and want to get some rest before I have to work again, so I start heading back up I-55. Just past Elkhart, the radio finally comes alive. I didn't have it recording because I honestly didn't expect to hear anything on the way home, but it was a northbound UP that was going to be meeting a late southbound 319 at Athol, just north of Lincoln. I've only been in the actual city of Lincoln once, but how hard can it be to find somewhere to go? So I pull off. As I'm getting off 55, I hear the detector about 6 miles south, so I know that northbound is almost here. However, it's going to have an approach at the south end of the siding, so it'll be slowing down. Pretty soon I see headlights from the south, and it's a train I've never really been able to get good shots of before. ITUG4 from Tucson to Global 4. I'm not sure if this train was really as long as it felt or if it was just going really slow, but it felt 2 miles long at least. Domestic containers in front, internationals in the back. This train has actually been converted symbol-wise to a manifest since then, and now runs as MTUG4. Not too long after TUG4 gets out of here comes southbound 319. Forgive the horrible glare. When I set up, I only thought about that the sun was behind me, not that it was behind me and to the right. Otherwise, it's your standard combined Lincoln Service in Missouri River Runner. 2 baggage cars for minimum axle requirements in Missouri, an Amfleet Cafe / business class car, and then venture cars the rest of the way. I stopped for a bathroom leaving Lincoln, so I wasn't quite able to catch up with the ITU-G4 before Bloomington, and that was okay. It was quite warm, I was tired, and I was ready to call it a day, albeit somewhat dejected with the lack of seeing what I actually went for. But this is not where our story ends quite yet, and we fast forward about 2 months. On August 8th, Norfolk Southern announced that it would finally be putting the Roadrailers to rest on the weekend of August 24th and 25th. The eastern end of the route will move from Detroit to Toledo, and initially 255 and 256 will be hot shots that carry Triple Crown trailers on flat cars in addition to Triple Crown containers, before the trailers will be retired and the train will become all stacks. So I'm going to head down to Decatur and hopefully get any sign of life from either train. I'm heading to the old train station known as Control Point Wabash because it was where the Wabash crossed the IC. Get it? This crossing is not nearly as busy as it once was. The IC's main line ran straight through town, splitting into 3 directions to the north, and the Pennsylvania having trackage rights through town. East and west was the Wabash, the star of the show, with the B&O having trackage rights through town. The Wabash is now the NS. The IC has been splintered. To the south, the former main line to Centralia is now the Decatur Junction. CN ownership curves to the southeast from Decatur towards Mattoon, although the Pennsylvania line that once split off there is now gone. To the east, the former B&O is now the Decatur and Eastern Illinois. Only sections of the IC lines to the north remain. The northeast branch is owned by CN up to Larkdale, and the Decatur Central after that, but the DC is out of service. The north main line only runs for a short distance and ends. The only remaining branch in use is the Peoria sub, turning northwestern towards Mount Pulaski and Lincoln. The CN doesn't run much through here, so the star remains Norfolk Southern. As I arrive, I hear a CN train looking for a light south. As I get set up, it starts rolling, so I don't catch the front. I'm not sure what this was exactly. What followed was a big stretch where NS-121 made several forward and back movements building their train. This one is destined for the Alton and Southern from Sterling Heights, Michigan. Really the only other thing of note is this transfer job that runs up and drops some cars off for the CN and then comes back later engine light. We get word that NS-255 is called for 2 p.m. in Decatur, and, well, now we have a target for it. A little after 2, the signals to the west finally turn a color, but it's red over green over red, diverging clear. I don't know what this is. I assumed it's 121, but unless they added a cut of cars behind the power, it isn't. I think it might have been 122, but not positive. It pulls right up to the Wabash signal and parks. That'll need to clear out of here before 255 can leave. The conductor finally gets to the head end at 217 and it heads out. Before this train, I thought I heard a defect detector on the Brooklyn district, but I had never heard anything else about it, so I kind of forgot about it. Keep this in mind. What happens next is one of the most stressful things I've ever had happen as a railfan, and I'll try to lay it out as completely as I can. I hear nothing on the radio about anything, so all I can go off of is visual cues. Not long after that manifest gets out of here, the eastbound signal near to me changes to a red over yellow, restricting. That means that not only is something coming, it will be moving very slowly and going into the yard. Which, okay, except to my left, the westbound signal at Mosser is a high green. I knew it had come into Decatur and was at the crew change point, so once it rolled, 255 wouldn't take long to get out of here. I'd now just had to hope that eastbound waited to come in until after 255 left. Well, you should know where this is going. There's a horn to the west, and I've never been less enthused to see a train. I don't actually know what the symbol for this guy was. I think it might have been 36N, but I didn't hear anything besides 255 calling signals, so I don't know. I know two things. It is going to be moving very slowly, and I can't see the end. Oh no. About the same time, we get word that the crew is on 255 and ready to go. The sight of that manifest sends most of the crowd that is gathered here scrambling to head somewhere west, but I accept my fate. What happens next is about 20 minutes of this. Then this. Then some more of this. And this again. don't have a length on this one, but it was massive, and for most of the time it was working, I couldn't see the end. However, as the end very slowly approached, I still don't hear anything on the other track or see exhaust coming up where 255 was nearby. Turns out there was a reason for this. The crew for 255 was alerted of our presence and decided to absolutely crawl their train out of the yard to give that manifest time to clear up and for us to get our shots. There was no way to tell this though at the time. All I knew is that I could hear eventually that 255 was right there, and so I just kept adjusting the camera back. As it became clear, I'd be able to see it at least just a little bit. I go back to my regular shot, and
he's literally sitting on the other side waiting for this train to leave. He's going to turn, but he's waiting for the train to leave to give us a shot.
perfect timing. I head back to Bloomington, thankful that I was able to capture part of history just before it disappeared forever. If you noticed, I have changed the name of the channel. I mean, it was in the intro and everything. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. It lets me know which videos you guys would like to see more of. Also, let me know what you think of this new format. I never really wanted to put myself on camera, but it does reduce the amount of B-roll I have to get, which is nice, but let me know if you like it, hate it, whatever. You can follow me on Instagram and read the blog, links are in the video description. Until next time, thank you for watching, and this has been Tyler, the Central Illinois Railfan.